By the way, I want to give you a comparative example of how bad things are here and how we can turn around very quickly. Eugene Debs in the 1920s, when he was about to retire, great labor leader, he was asked by a reporter, "What's your greatest regret in your long career?" And Debs looked at the reporter and said, "My greatest regret is that under our Constitution, the American people can have almost anything they want." But are we on? Under our Constitution, the American people can have almost anything they want, but it just seems like they don't want much of anything at all. See how low the expectation level? He saw it. Now fast forward, World War II. Watch this. End of World War II, U.S. richest, most powerful country in the world. Almost unscathed in terms of any devastation of its homeland. Western Europe in ruins, cities devastated, countryside destitute, hunger, poverty, starvation, 50% unemployment. We give them a little Marshall Plan, and in 1946, here's what they started doing. Through their trade unions, through their cooperatives, through their multi-party system, not two parties, multi-party system with proportional representation, allowing small coalitions to pioneer new ideas, plus instant runoff voting. They demanded and received, by law, for all their people, universal health insurance, decent wages, decent pensions, paid 4 weeks vacation, decent public transit, paid maternity leave, paid family sick leave, decent daycare, university-free tuition, and well-maintained parks. All the people. 63 years later, in the land of the free, home of the brave, the USA, we have none of these for all of the people. For 63 years, the Republicans and Democrats have failed to deliver the basic benefits of a productive society. And don't anybody say this is welfare. These people work hard in Europe, and they got a fair share of the returns in return for contributing to economic development and growth. Our country's workers are working longer hours than anyone in Western Europe and even Japan. They're working longer hours, week by week, than 20, 30 years ago. And they are getting a fraction of what they deserve. For 63 years, these two parties didn't deliver these basic social benefits, which would have saved thousands of lives, millions of sickness, because of health insurance. People die, people get sick, stay sick, don't have their illnesses treated. They would have saved anxiety by the day, job security by the day. Congested traffic without public transit alternatives. Think of that. They would have saved billions of hours that could have been spent with the family. They would have saved the anxiety that comes with having to have a job and a half at Walmart wages, and then you have to go to 2 different places, and you're caught, and you're in traffic, and you got a car, and you got auto insurance, and you got to deal with car repair, you got to pick up the children. What kind of life is this? This is ridiculous. It's a lack of self-respect collectively on our part. For 63 years they failed. Republican, Democrat failed in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and this decade. And they will fail for the indefinite future if we don't get out of this two-party prison. Here's how these two parties talk to the voters. Nader Gonzalez can't win. Oh, really? No, we've made certain they can't win. We keep them out of the debates. That's the only way they can reach tens of millions of people, and we control the debate committee. the two parties. It's a company they created 21 years ago. They don't want anyone else on the stage. Once you're kept off the debates, try getting on the ballots in some states. If it wasn't for parties like the Ecology Party, we would have had to spend $300,000-400,000 to get paid signature gatherers to gather 200,000 signatures in order to qualify for the 100,000 or so ballots required. But there are other states where it doesn't matter. Texas doesn't matter, whether you're a party or an independent candidate. North Carolina, Georgia, horrendous obstacles, unlike any other Western country. So that's another draining thing they do. Because it's their laws they pass, Republican, Democrat, state legislatures. The third, they know that if you're not on the debates, that the mass media in Washington, New York aren't going to cover you. Because the mass media in Washington, New York know that even though you're the number 3 candidacy, even though if you're the 60th seed at Wimbledon, you get a chance at Senate Court, or you're 60th seed in the NCAA, you can go for the Final Four. They know that if you're number 3 and you're 4, 5, 6, 7%, whatever, depending on the state, if you don't get on those debates and you're not a mega billionaire, you're not going to win. So they can say, well, why cover these guys? They're not going to win. And then you see the 3 barriers, the ballot access barriers, the debate barriers, and then blackout by the media. Now this is what we have to change. Number 1, the television, radio media are using our property. We own the public airways. You must never forget to tell your friends that. FCC is our real estate. And the radio and TV stations are the tenants. We're the landlords, they're the tenants. Guess what? They've rigged the system in Washington where they pay us no rent. Not since 1927. They use our property free 24 hours a day. And they decide what to do with it, don't they? 90% of it's advertising, entertainment. Most of the rest is weather, sports, news, traffic, weather, sports, news, right? There's a few good programs, but it's a minuscule number. And it's no way to treat a landlord. Now, if we rented, if we charged them rent and got back some time on TV and radio, drive time, prime time, we'd have our own wonderful production facilities, radio and TV stations, which could be national network. We wouldn't have to rely on them anymore. But if we don't grow up learning about what we own, the public lands we own, 1/3 of America, the richest minerals, timber, etc. We don't control it. The companies control it via the Department of Interior or Department of Agriculture. So you can see how rigged it is. Now, there's 2 ways to respond to that. And one is to give up.